On today's show, Mel is finally shown the link between three recurring themes in her dreams. Dee, who is retired, has a really sad dream that shows much of the deep pain she has endured in her life. But if you didn't know how to interpret dreams, you would never know it. You'd probably think it was a happy dream. Stay tuned to find out more. Hello and welcome to the Dream Interpretation Podcast. I'm Michael Sheridan. This is another half hour of us eavesdropping on the very personal communication between the spirit world and heroes on their journey. And by that, I mean dreamers. That's what a dreamer is, a hero on a journey. And that's why I focus on dreams. If you want to know what you're meant to be doing right now at this very moment in time, then look no further than your dreams. Through analyzing your dreams, I reveal your potential and the obstacles you need to overcome. I'm very specific. I tell you what your superpowers are, what makes you magnificent, and the bumps in life that are holding you back. These bumps are not in the way, they are the way. If you want to get your dream analyzed on my show, go to dream-analysis.com/podcast, fill in the form there and submit your dream and I will get it. Alternatively, email radioshow@dream-analysis.com. Either way will work. That's all you have to do. And then sit back and wait for me to do your dream. So the first dream is from Mel. Mel had a digestive system issue for a long time. Not too big of an issue, but always showing up in her dreams. She also has the age 2 to 3 showing up and wondered why it shows up so much. And lastly, she's been consciously working on masculine energy imbalances as directed by her dreams. Well, here is a beauty of a dream that ties all of these things together for her quite nicely. It's quite a short dream, so I'll read it out first. She says, I was at the house where I grew up. I was going inside and a toddler, black I think, was trying to go in with me. I didn't want him, so I just walked ahead of him and I went inside without him. I was bringing Bella and Louie in and had their leashes in each hand. Bella's was in my right hand. She morphed into a different toddler, a little boy with sandy blonde hair. And so then I was holding his hand in mine. Again, I didn't want a toddler, so I picked him up and tossed him over the gate between the kitchen and the dining room. I was worried that I might have hurt him, but when I looked, he was on the ground and had turned into a doll. She put in brackets, this creeped me out. So, okay, that's the dream. So let's have a look at what it means. So she says, I was at the house where I grew up. So this is bringing us right back to childhood. That's the best way dreams do it. I was going inside and a toddler was trying to go in with me, and it's a male. And she says, I didn't want him, so I just walked ahead of him. So this is an important part. This is about moving into her mom's body. We see it a lot in dreams. I don't always point it out, but the first time you enter a building in a dream is going to be about you moving into your own body. Of course, your body's in your mom's body. And then when you exit a building, that's actually birth. So here, because she didn't want this male with her, it means that part of what she's here to work on is this distance between her masculine side and herself. So we all have masculine and feminine energy. And masculine energy has been coming up a lot for Mel. It's coming up a lot in her relationships. And she's had many dreams about that. And she's had many dreams about digestive system, many dreams about the age 2 or 3. And here we have a dream finally putting it all together. So it's really cool. So we know now from this dream that she brought this issue with her in order to work on it this time around. So of course she has to experience it. So let's continue on. So she walked ahead of him and went inside without him. I was bringing Bella and Louie in and they had their leashes in each hand. Here it's saying that she wants to be comfortable in her own skin. That's often what a dog is about, comfortable in her own body. This is the goal in this lifetime, to get comfortable in her own body. And here she is with the animals. She's good with animals and she's quite happy at this point in the dream. She's got a leash in each hand. So she's also a hands-on healer. That's what that's going to be about. And she is indeed. She already works at that. And then she says, Bella's was in my right hand. She morphed into a different toddler. So it's like the dream says, right, we know what you're here to work on. You're good with animals. Let's switch one of them up to be a human. And of course, what does she do? She said, so then I was holding his hand in mine. That's good. That's what the dream wants. That's what your higher self wants you to be holding on to your masculine side. Again, it was a little boy with sandy blonde hair. I'll come back to that. But she says, again, I didn't want a toddler. So I picked him up and tossed him over the gate between the kitchen and the dining room. So like I said, okay, I was happy with being with the dogs, but when the dog was switched to a human, I don't like it. I don't want any of this. I want to keep people at a distance. This is true for Mel, but now we know why the age is coming up. Mel started this at the age of the toddler in the dream. So that's the 2 to 3 year old that she's always wondered about. And the trigger for the event was around eating. Now, how do we know it's around eating? Because the kitchen and the dining room, 2 places to do with eating, show up in the dream. And I asked Mel if she liked to eat on her own. And she said that she did and still does. Like, would still prefer to eat on her own than eat with other people. But lately, she's not so bad. She's okay with eating with other people too. And I asked that because the dining room is a social place where we are expected to interact and share, but the kitchen isn't. So she just tossed the toddler into the dining room while she stays in the kitchen. So what likely happened for Mel is that she was criticized while eating, and it made her want to eat on her own. Now, criticized when she was a little toddler. So this is also the start of her digestive system problems, because from that time, eating became associated with feeling bad or negative feelings or being criticized, whatever it was, that this is where the source of the issue was. And it may not have been criticism around how she ate, but it became associated with eating. She then continues on in the dream. I was worried that I might have hurt him, but when I looked, he was on the ground and he turned into a doll, and this creeped me out. Okay, so this is what she needs to work on. If you feel like you hurt somebody, what way do you act? So that's the question you would ask Mel. And her answer was that she finds herself in situations she doesn't like and doesn't want to be in because she doesn't want to hurt people. And I joked with Mel that what she should do is invite all her friends over to watch her eating. Don't feed them. Just say you're coming over for dinner, but I'm the one having dinner and you're all just going to watch. And the uncomfortable feeling that will come up in that exercise is the feeling that she had in childhood. Of course, I was joking. Don't actually do it. Even just thinking about it was enough for Mel to go, oh, I know what the feelings are. Also, the gate is a boundary symbol, which is a masculine energy symbol too. So hands-on healing is masculine energy. We see her wanting to keep a distance between her and her masculine side. So her life is about restoring the flow of masculine energy, getting it back into balance. And she's a hands-on healer, which works with masculine energy. It is masculine energy. So that's going to help her see the positive side of masculine energy. But she needs to work on having healthy boundaries because of the gate by improving her masculine energy balance. And then also because the kid is blonde, I asked if the dreamer is a guide. I channeled on that and she is. It's unusual to see a blonde-haired kid in a dream. We see guides all the time, but it's a little kid. So why is a guide showing up as a little kid? Because she's everything in the dream. You're always everything in your own dream. So that's why I channeled on that. So the links then, straightforward, digestive system age 2 to 3 and masculine energy issues, which show up in her life in all sorts of ways, including relationships, impacting her relationships and so on. But it's really cool to get such a concise dream showing how they're all linked and showing that this is the obstacle in your life. This is what you're meant to work on, why you came here. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to do this because I don't want to have to come back, or whatever reason you give yourself. Doesn't matter what reason it is, as long as your desire is ultimately to grow, then your higher self will take it. Have you ever wondered how to unlock the wisdom of your higher self so that you can figure out your life purpose, why you're here, what you're meant to be doing, and what's keeping you off track? If so, then we have an exciting live event coming up this fall. Join us for a 3-day intensive live virtual event from October 7th to 9th, where we will show you how to answer some critical questions like, how do I identify my unique spiritual gifts? And how do symbols show the solution to what is holding me back? And then what do I do next once I realize what my gifts are or what my obstacles are? We'll also show you how to avoid incurring karma by doing the wrong things. Sign up today at dream-analysis.com/free to secure your free spot at this event. The first 100 to register will get a free copy of the color version of my book worth $35. You can't get this version on Amazon. We reserve it for course participants because supplies are limited. But now you can get it for free. So sign up today before seats run out. Again, the link is dream-analysis.com/free. Sign up today and we'll see you there. Let's have a look at Dee's dream. Now, I love dream interpretation. I've devoted over half my life to studying dreams and using them to help people heal from the trauma their dreams reveal. Dreams see you, and that sense of being seen is a lot for some people, especially when they have gone through life feeling unseen. People who feel unseen are often abuse survivors. They cower and hide as children because being unseen might stop the abuse. If I'm quiet, Dad might forget I'm here, even if just for now. Dee called her dream, "Life is confusing." To her, it still is. She's a most amazing woman. She was a selective mute due to the repeated abuse she suffered. When you're abused, you don't just fear your abuser, you fear so much more. Children don't tell anyone because they feel it somehow is their fault. They think that they will get into more trouble for telling, that they will be brutally victimized for causing it. This is not because children are stupid, it's because they are wise and they know how to survive. Mom won't side with Dad if I don't tell her, because that would be even more unbearable. I will hide and I will cry inwardly, and maybe Mom or someone else will notice my withdrawal and save me because I'm too small to save myself. Dee didn't even talk in school. Her teacher didn't think anything of it. And the first time she did talk, her teacher brought another teacher over to hear her cute southern accent, but she couldn't get her to talk again. She refused to speak in school for another 6 months, and her teacher just returned to passing her by. Teachers don't have the training. They should, because they work with children, but they don't. And as a result of her first verbal interaction, Dee chose to lose her southern accent because it made her stand out. She must never stand out, because that leads to abuse. Can you imagine this from the young child's perspective? In deep pain and living the experience that nobody cares. Dee stood up to her dad at age 12. She went on to work at a treatment centre for children with severe emotional disturbance. She was good with kids. She could reach them where others couldn't. She understood their world. She never asked a child to talk, but she got them to. Not talking was their way of protecting themselves. You don't ask a child to stop protecting herself. You show them a world where they know they no longer have to. Dee learned as a child to spot the safe adults. She would go to them, she would put her head on their laps and pretend to be asleep to draw out her time with them as much as possible. She became a safe adult to the children she worked with. She knew what they wanted. Throughout her adult life, though, she still struggled with adults, retreating inwards at the slightest sign of conflict. How do I know all of this? Because Dee's pain crisscrosses this dream. These details came up through tears as we talked about the meaning of her dream and what it says about her struggles today and what it says about her childhood. Let's have a look at the dream. Life is confusing. It's the end of the workday and I keep trying to get home. Every time I turn around, there is something that keeps getting in the way. We have visitors coming to our house, and this is the first night they will be staying with us. I'm trying to make it home for dinner. I'm worried the people will be angry because I am late. I get in my car in the parking garage and I'm heading out. My brother-in-law, Tom, is also trying to get out of the garage. I notice that his truck is very tall. I'm concerned that he may hit this horizontal pole that is near the ceiling. I warn him that it is there. Now, there's a lot more to the dream, so I'm going to go back over that first bit. So the end of the workday, this is something you don't generally want to see in dreams. It's often a suicide reference, but it isn't in this dream, so I channeled on it and it's fine. So the end of the workday is she's retired and she keeps trying to get home. Well, getting home is one of the really common themes in a dream, and it's about getting back to who you are, understanding where you're from. Or, figuratively, it's like, this is me, this is where I'm from. But the from being that I am an angel, I am whatever terminology you want to use. But that's what our life here on earth is about, discovering who we really are and dropping the illusions that we hold on to, dropping the limiting beliefs, etc., etc. Anyway, she says, every time I turn around, there is something that keeps getting in the way. So she is currently now wanting to discover who she really is spiritually. But she feels like she's not going to achieve it, that there are obstacles that she's not going to be able to overcome. And that's what this first part of the dream is about. She says, we have visitors coming over, and this is the first night they will be staying with us. I'm trying to make it home for dinner. I am worried that people will be angry because I am late. So we know straight away that she endured a lot of anger. What else does she say? I get in my car in the parking garage. Okay, so let's go back to they'll be angry because she's late. So she has people coming to stay with her, and she is afraid that if she doesn't do what they want, if she doesn't show up and be the perfect host, that people will get angry with her. So she puts herself out for the sake of other people. And you ask her that, and that's very clear. She will always put herself out. She doesn't want to bring anything on herself, any negative eyes. Now, we know why, because I've explained some of it. But we see it in the dream here, like her having done a whole day's work, and she's going to drive home and make food for all the people who are on vacation. You know, of course, if you have a guest who's like that, who gets put out because you're not giving them what they want, then that's not a guest you want. But again, her issue is she puts herself out. She says, I get in my car in the parking garage and I'm heading out. My brother-in-law, Tom, is also trying to get out of the garage. I noticed that his truck is very tall. So she likes her brother-in-law, Tom. He's a really nice guy. And so we know it's something to do with masculine energy because Tom appears early in the dream and he has a truck. And trucks also represent masculine energy. But the truck is very tall. So this is really good to see in a dream. This is where her growth is going to be on dealing with issues around masculine side. She says that he's concerning me. He may hit this horizontal pole that is near the ceiling. So again, the horizontal pole or any pole in a dream is also a masculine energy symbol. And she's afraid that he's going to hit it on the way out of the garage. So it's like the limitation that she's got is masculine energy, or the ceiling issue that she has that's preventing her growth is something to do with masculine energy. And that's what she has to overcome. And she warns him that it is there. Now we move on to the next part of the dream. We are in San Francisco, where I lived for many years. We're on Clement Street, an area which has a large Chinese population. My car is broken down and I've rented this bizarre car, which is all white, shaped like a station wagon, but it is clunky. The white paint is flat, not shiny. The car is unmarked, untrimmed, just this oversized and oddly formed. I park the car on the street on the opposite side of the street, heading west, I think. But when I go out, I can't find the car. I hate that feeling when you can't find your car. Anxiety starts, worry, and confusion. Then it occurs to me that I must not have parked it where I thought I did. I now remember that I might have turned right at the end of the block. I go explore that street. I spot my car. What a relief. Now, we'll go back and look at that paragraph. So again, the dream is about her discovering who she is. It's telling her that she has to work on masculine energy issues. She says, my car is broken down and I've rented this bizarre car, which is all white, shaped like a station wagon, but it is clunky. The white paint is flat, not shiny. The car is unmarked, untrimmed, just this oversized and oddly formed car. Cars in dreams represent your ability to achieve your goals. And of course, that's what this whole dream is about. It's about her achieving the goal of discovering who she is and her concern about not being able to do it. And so here, the car represents the ability to achieve it, but it's nothing special. It's not shiny. It's flat. The white paint is flat. It's unmarked. It's untrimmed, and so on. It's odd. It's clunky. She doesn't describe anything nice about it. Now, you're everything in a dream. So this is her really describing herself. And then we see the white paint being almost the only thing that's talked about. So she's hard on herself. So she's hard on herself when it comes to this. So she knows what her goal is, and she's going to beat herself up about trying to achieve that goal instead of enjoying the journey. So she says she parked the car on the street, on the opposite side of the street, heading west. But when I go out, I can't find the car. So this is the sense of like, okay, I know what I want to do, but I don't know where to start. I hate the feeling when you can't find your car. Anxiety starts, worry, and confusion. Now, these are all masculine energy issues: anxiety, worry, and confusion. Masculine energy is about intellect, one of the aspects of it. And so worry is in the head, and confusion's in the head, and anxiety, that's all masculine energy issues. These are the things that she experiences in life that she has to overcome. That's her goal, to overcome these. And she says, it occurs to me that I must not have parked it where I thought I did, and now remember that I might have turned right at the end of the block. So again, she's got to work on removing blocks. And she goes to this other street, spots a car, and that's really good. She's relieved at that point in the dream. And she said the car was even nicer when she found it at that point. And here's where it then switches into childhood. So the first part is all about laying the groundwork and saying, this is what you're trying to do, and this is what you have to overcome, and these are the obstacles that you have or feel are in your way in trying to achieve it. She says, there is a young Asian boy who seems lost. He is separated from his parents. I stop to help him, ask him questions. He says he is going to therapy, but somehow got separated. He is near tears. I assure him that we will find his family. After a number of tries, we do find them. I tried to explain them all that we have had to go through to find them. Okay, so this is the horrible part. So the boy who seems lost, an Asian boy who seems lost. So this is her disconnect from her masculine energy, which is why both dreams are about this today. And her purpose in life is to get this back. And so whatever age the boy is the age she needs to work on. And I think it's around age 8 or 9, if I remember correctly. And he's separated from his parents. So she's trying to help him find his parents. But you're everything in the dream. So she still is this lost child in reality. And she's still trying to find her parents. She didn't get this help. So she's basically in the dream. She's gone back in time and helping another boy deal with this separation from his parents. But that is vicariously healing her separation from her parents. Anyway, she says, I stopped to ask him questions. He says he's going to therapy, but somehow got separated. Now, she obviously did go into therapy herself to help her with the experiences she suffered. But here, it's still like therapy is needed for this age, is what the dream is saying. He is near tears. So this frightened child who needs therapy is still trapped within her. I assure him that we will find his family, and that's really good. So this is her able to work with kids, and she does. After a number of tries, we do find them. And then she says, I tried to explain to them all that we had to go through to find them. And you would almost like go past this little bit of a sentence, but it really says that as a child, she wanted an explanation. She wanted her parents to understand, or mom to whoever, to understand what she had gone through, but nobody ever did. Never happened in her childhood. And this is still an issue that she's carrying today, that she never got to do that, never got to explain it. Mom never got to understand. They're not around anymore. And if you ask her, how does she feel about that? She's like, well, it wouldn't bother me now. But because it's in the dream, we know it does. And then when we talked about it, it really became emotional. And some of the things that I mentioned earlier came up. Then she says, the boy wanders off again. I go looking for him. He has jumped into the white car with a woman. He is sleeping there. So when I asked her about that, it reminded her of the fact that she viewed her aunt as a safe adult. And anytime she was around, she would do whatever it took to be with her. And if the family were going places and the aunt was going as well, she would go in the aunt's car and she would lie with her head on her lap, because that was the only time she ever felt safe. And did her aunt ever know this? No, at least never verbalized. But that's what she went through, and that's what this part of the dream is about. She says, the overriding feeling is that we will each make it home after all of these attempts to get there. So that's great. So this is telling her, look, you're going to get there. You are going to get there. The dream gets fuzzy here. I'm back at my house. There are lots of doors in the house or apartment. There are lots of activities going on behind each door. I open a number of doors and observe what is going on inside each room. So this is the last little bit of the dream. And doors represent opportunities, or her looking at all the activities that are happening in different places inside the house. But she doesn't go into any of these rooms. So it says that she spent a life of observing, still observes, without taking any of these doors and going in. So that's when you talk to her and find out about in childhood, she would hide from anything. She wouldn't go anywhere. She wouldn't go into any room where parties were being had, because that would make her be noticed. So she would hide from everything. So she was aware of all the things, all the activities that were happening, but didn't participate. And of course, this still happens to her today. She still finds herself holding back because of her childhood. Makes perfect sense that she would. And that's one of the things she needs to work on, because obviously taking up space in a room is masculine energy, like having the ability to do that, to create your space and to create boundaries around yourself and say, this is my space, I'm entitled to be here. And that's what she's working on. So that's what's going to help her figuratively get back home, get back to who she is, understanding who she is, by restoring the flow of masculine energy that she lost due to the abuse in childhood at the age of the lost boy in the dream. All right. So that's a hard dream. I didn't go into as much of the detail as there is in it, but even reading the dream, preparing it for the show, I found myself becoming very emotional again, having gone through the dream with the dreamer, and that being a very emotional experience too. But it is amazing what dreams cover, what they reveal about a person, especially like how it fits into the whole purpose of your life and how it's going to help you grow and discover who you really are. And as the dream says, Dee is going to make it home. There's no doubt. She says, overriding feeling that we will each make it home. Her and the child, because she is the child. That's my show for this week. I do hope you liked it. I hope you got something from it. And if you are interested in any of the things that we do outside the podcast, go to dream-analysis.com. You can download my free dictionary there. Work on your own dreams, get lots of insights. You'll also get lots of tips about dreams, emails about the most common dreams, what they mean, and lots more. You can also look at the courses that we're running and the free events that are coming up. We have a free event coming up October 7th to 9th. 3 days, completely free. We do ask for a refundable deposit because we only have a limited number of seats, but I do hope to see you there, and please continue to send me your dreams. See you next week.